Mr. Shikatano, my fellow members of the class of 2025, I should not be here. This is not because I've had some near-death experience, and I do not proclaim this arbitrarily either. Rather, I say this because I'm the product of chance and grace. This was obvious from the beginning. Born in a speeding blue minivan with my grandmother behind the wheel, I always know my life must be anything but typical and meant for more. I opened my eyes and never stopped looking forward to the next scene in the window. But now, more than ever, contrary to my innate nature, I'm compelled to look back and recognize the goodness of these last 17 years of my life, and more specifically, these last 4 years. Born into a fast-moving world, quite literally in my case, I do not believe we often take time to consider what is behind us and how our feet have landed where they are now. So I decided to take a look at my own life. The driving question is this: why did I get to be a Jesuit tiger? I naturally begin where it all starts. I was born into this world October 6, 2007, into a family more eventful than most. We experienced our first tragedies with the flames that consumed our home and the ensuing abandonment by my father. Simply put, however, these were just precursors to my greatest joys. We moved in with my grandparents on the rural outskirts of Zephyrhills, Florida, down a dirt road dubbed Mather Street, which is named after my mom's side of the family. Our lives were transplanted from a green two-story home in a suburban cul-de-sac to scenes of dirt roads, plentiful oak trees, and the majestic one-story house that I would, and still do, call home. With this came a truth about my life. Change would be a mainstay. I would find out what it meant to have a single mom with 5 kids, of which I'm the 5th and youngest, and learn the value of family as I passed countless hours with my grandpa, who I've sought to emulate in action as much as I look like him. At least that's the consensus among my family. Having a great mom, I luckily never had worries growing up. My mom worked hard as she ran her small law firm, all the while encouraging me and my siblings to do the same. In everything, she never failed to stress her motto of going 110%. It is this continual encouragement that has gotten me through completing 7th and 8th grade at once before entering Jesuit, and through these last 4 years. She taught me hard work and provided what she could to support me along the way. Something she often jokes about because she believes I've gotten the scraps of which she can provide as a single mother, especially after providing for my 4 older siblings. I usually flatter this joke with affirming a laugh or two, but do not believe it to be true. If it is, however, I have gotten some pretty good scraps. Though I can lament never getting my license because of the cost of insurance, nor having a lot of college savings, I just say she taught me to work with less, really with what is necessary. Whether that's taking me to building the cheapest and most makeshift backyard pond, or perfecting the art of hitching rides with friends to get someplace, I've learned this lesson well. In the end, well formed by my experiences, I ended up at Jesuit to be formed once again, no matter how out of place I was. Which takes me back to my first point. I probably should not be here. Heck, I did not know Jesuit existed except in the stories my older brother would bring home. I only so happened to finally join my mom in picking up my brother from school one day and had to pee that my brother begrudgingly dragged me back up the stairs he came down into Cosmar Hall. Funny enough, that bathroom break was what made Jesuit real to me. It was my first Jesuit story. It was a fitting beginning for the years to come. Instead of showing up to Jesuit in a speeding blue minivan like I entered this world, I showed up in a craze looking for a restroom. A 13-year-old with black square-framed glasses had found a home. Where my past had taught me to endure change, Jesuit expanded on this and taught me to look forward to change and stay curious about it. Where my past had taught me to work hard, Jesuit expanded on this and taught me to work hard for the greater glory of God, AMDG. Where my past had taught me to work with less, Jesuit expanded on this and taught me to work towards more, academically, spiritually, physically, always striving for the modest. In an almost repeated fashion, my life was again transplanted. This time from that house on Mather Street to North Himes Avenue. I had a new family, no matter how out of place I was. I could never tell anyone the difference between South Tampa and West Tampa, and still cannot. I would never quite fit in terms of lifestyle, coming from a middle-class family that is simply getting by, and will get my mind blown a couple times or so. I would never be able to point out any old middle school friends in this class of 2025, save a guy I once played lacrosse with, or 2 guys that were once in the grade above me at my old school, but would eventually see a bunch of old faces with the rival class of the class of 2026. The fact is, a guy from Zephyrhills, and a family that is strictly getting by, who is not even supposed to be a senior, should not be graduating as a member of Jesuit's class of 2025. Yet the fact remains unchangeable. I am here, and I'm a proud Jesuit Tiger. I stand with you all as one of the surviving 189 of the 220 or so that began this race with us. The school has brought us to a community that's been in the making since 1899 and to a movement that began in 1540 with St. Ignatius, and its gifts to us are too many to count. Next to us are our brothers, a group of individuals, each with their own atypical lives like my own. Maybe countless of you, too, should not be here. In any case, I know the uniqueness of each of our lives merits a moment of contemplation and awe as we consider how we got here. I refuse to believe any life is just ordinary, but rather all are extraordinary. Our common thread is that we all stand as members of the class of 2025. We have finished this leg of the race with a marathon ahead of us, and it's good that we look in the rear view, but let's never take our eyes off of what's ahead. For in the words of Christ in Matthew chapter 22, many are called but few are chosen, and in Luke chapter 12, everyone to whom much is given, of him will much be required. In other words, we have been chosen, and much is expected. We often look at the meaning of the American dream as the going of little to more. In our case, we are the ones given too much to not achieve more. Let's instead go from more to greater. We each have a mark to leave and a page in a history book to fill up. Do not be a footnote. We can all begin now writing this next chapter with a gift to Jesuit. In front of you all, on your table, are special pledge cards. This is an opportunity to give either $10 or $20 to Jesuit for each of the next 5 years, which is the equivalent of 1 meal out or 1 trip to the movies. This is the offer. Today, pledge your support to a mission that has changed the lives of countless individuals, including my own. Without such generosity, I certainly would not be here. I would not have experienced the transformational works of the Guatemala and Belgrade mission trips, nor the life-changing experiences of the 2023 Marian pilgrimage in Europe. I would not have shared in the brotherhood formed on the Jesuit lacrosse team, nor in the intimacy between brothers fostered on our retreats. Most importantly, I would not be Catholic. We leave this place, but the fact is we will forever be changed by it. Simply, I'm grateful. And I'm saying thank you to Jesuit with this pledge, asking my fellow class of 2025 brothers to join me in also making this commitment to support our alma mater. It is important to know this gift will not be collected today, because we are not alumni just yet. Simply put, this is to let Jesuit know it can count on us for the next 5 years and the years to come as active members of the Alumni Association. I want to thank you all for being a great senior class. Go Tigers.